There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
Oh my God, I had no idea this is what you were dealing with.
Tonight, I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. For example, to have a president who was unwilling to enforce the rulings of the courts.
Yes.
Who's just simply said, you know what, if I don't agree with the courts, I'm just going to ignore those rulings. That's the end of the constitutional republic.
I certainly have been critical of you on our show because you voted with Trump 93% of the time.
Trump thinks the Constitution is written in disappearing ink. At least that's what Whoopi Goldberg's saying. And guess who's backing her up? None other than Liz Cheney, folks. But here's the kicker. While we're all laughing at Donnie Diapers, these two are uncovering some scary stuff about what Trump thinks he can do as president. It's not just funny anymore. It's downright dangerous. Want to know why?
Are you getting a lot of people going, oh my God, I had no idea this is what you were dealing with?
And I have to tell you guys, I've done a lot of interviews, but you guys make me really nervous. It has been, it's been very moving as an American, because I think the challenges that I describe in the book and the challenges that we face, people across the political spectrum, with the exception of some in the Republican Party, really recognize how grave this threat is.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Oh Marvel, get moving. The fact that we have a new superhero team in town is even more bizarre than the discovery that Trump is eating a vegetable.
Country, we don't swear an oath to an individual or a political party. We take our oath to defend the United States Constitution. I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
I didn't know I had so much in common with. So, yeah, I know it's shocking. I really wanted you to come and talk about what you've done and why, because I'm always interested in what makes somebody see something and go, oh my God, I gotta tell everybody.
Liz Cheney and Whoopi Goldberg, two names that are not typically associated with one another, have joined forces in order to combat the Orange Menace himself. There's a possibility that you are wondering, Whoopi and Liz, the combination would be comparable to that of peanut butter and pickles. In addition, you are not entirely wrong. Whoopi, the liberal comedian who has been offering sultry opinions on The View for years, is a far cry from Liz Cheney, the conservative politician who comes from a family that is practically Republican royalty. Liz Cheney is a far cry from Whoopi.
He used Nazi terminology about rooting out vermin and the people coming over the border is poisoning our blood, and he's calling the January 6th prisoners hostages.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think part of it is because what he's saying is so horrible.
Yeah.
And in a way, we've become numb. We've become accustomed to sort of being able to rely on our republic surviving. And so it can become very difficult. And I hear people on the right saying, oh, you're catastrophizing.
Yesterday, Trump and his lawyers were in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Trying to claim presidential immunity from prosecution in his election interference case. And his lawyers seem to be arguing.
Well, it's without basis in the Constitution. I think that it's, as you all were talking about, completely indefensible.
Trump's antics have gotten so out of hand that he has been able to bring together two people who couldn't be more different from one another. This is the most unfortunate aspect of the situation. It would appear that he is the worst matchmaker in the world, connecting people all the while being completely and utterly awful. Imagine Liz, who is well versed in all things Republican, working together with Whoopi, who is well known for her quick wit and memorable one-liners. Liz is the insider on most things Republican. It is comparable to a buddy cop movie, with the exception that they are catching Trump with his pants down, thank goodness metaphorically, rather than bad guys. What is it about these improbable allies that makes them so exciting? It has come to our attention that President Trump has been articulating some extremely peculiar perspectives concerning the authority of the presidency. It would appear that he considers his position as president to be a license to get out of jail free for an indefinite period of time. Where are Whoopi and Liz? They are here to say, Donnie Diapers, don't move so quickly. As Whoopi brings her comedic skills to the table, she is roasting Trump like an overcooked turkey. Trump is being roasted like an overcooked turkey. The reason that Trump's claims of immunity are as strong as his hair in a windstorm is being explained by Liz, who is using her expertise in politics to explain the situation. The combination of these two factors is revealing Trump's actions in a shorter amount of time than it takes to say "Kov-fei-fei." What's more, Whoopi is making jokes that are more powerful than Trump's golf swing, while Liz is dropping truth bombs that make Trump's tweets look like they were written in kindergarten. Now is the time for everyone to get their popcorn ready, because the Trump show has just changed in a very strange way. On a day when the wind is blowing, our favorite orange turd has devised a new plan that is even more outrageous than his hair, using the phrase presidential immunity as if it were a magical shield that shields him from the law. He is asserting that he is entitled to this privilege. Actually, you did hear it correctly. Given that he is the president, Trump is under the impression that he is free to act in any manner he chooses without fear of repercussions. His behavior suggests that he is playing Monopoly, and he is under the impression that he has found a get-out-of-jail-free card that can be utilized in real life. The predicament lies in the fact that this is not merely another outburst from Trump. As a matter of fact, it is a very serious concern for our democratic system. What you need to understand is that if we allow Trump to continue his "I'm above the law" nonsense, it could establish a very poor precedent for future presidents. Imagine living in a society where every president is under the impression that they are able to disobey the law without fear of repercussions. Using the phrase "go nuts, kid" would be the equivalent of giving a young child the keys to a candy store. Would you like to take a quick look at some history? It did not appear that former presidents were protected by legal protection. Richard Nixon, the man who is considered to be the king of "I am not a crook," was forced to deal with the repercussions of his involvement in the Watergate scandal. In spite of his best efforts, he did not make any attempt to hide behind a non-existent shield of immunity. Actually, he left before you could even say the word impeachment. Together, Liz and Whoopi, our dynamic duo, are currently working to disprove the absurd notion that Trump has put forward. Whoopi, the self-proclaimed queen of comedy, roasted Donald Trump like a marshmallow over a campfire last night. On the other hand, she joked that Trump must be under the impression that the Constitution is written in a disappearing ink that only he can see. Would you kindly come on, Donald? Because the Constitution is not a magic eye poster, you can't just look at it and hope for the best. On the other hand, it's not all laughter. Despite the fact that she is as hilarious as a root canal, Liz Cheney is suddenly taking a more serious stance. However, she is warning that if Trump were to be allowed to get away with this immunity nonsense, it would be the same as writing "we the president" in place of "we the people" in the Constitution. Furthermore, this is even more terrifying than finding a hair in your McDonald's burger, which, let's face it, is probably the worst nightmare that Donald Trump could possibly create for himself. The worst part is the potential outcomes that could take place if Trump's assertions of immunity are taken seriously. It is possible that we will end up with a number of mini-Trumps running around, each of whom is under the impression that they are able to do whatever they want because they sat in the big chair at the White House. If you were to give launch codes to a group of monkeys, it would be comparable to that. While it might be entertaining for a brief period of time, you would quickly realize that we are all completely screwed. It seems as though our friend with the orange tint is having another outburst, but this time it's not just about his bad hair day, people. Trump's outburst regarding Whoopi and Liz's tag team takedown serves as a warning to all of us, and it is more than just a source of amusement and entertainment. To think that a comedian and a Republican would one day collaborate on a project is beyond the realm of possibility. A similar experience would be having a unicorn ride a dinosaur. On the other hand, that is precisely what we need at this very moment. The unanticipated alliances that we have formed are our best line of defense against politicians who believe they are above the law. Remember that just because Trump's skin is the color of a traffic cone does not give him the right to disregard red lights. This is something that you should keep in mind. Regardless of how much he complains, how much he stomps his feet, or how much he threatens to hold his breath until he turns blue, which might actually lighten his complexion, everyone is subject to the law. That is, even if you only consume hamburgers and reside in a tower made of gold. In light of this, let us be vigilant and ready with our own humorous bones. It's possible that we need more unlikely pairings if we want to keep our democracy from turning into a bad reality show. After all, humor and the law are our most effective weapons against people who are aspiring to be autocrats and are dressed in fancy suits.